In a world on the edge of chaos, unseen weapons loom, ready to unleash destruction across entire territories. Could it be that the true danger lies beneath our feet? The signs are everywhere, hidden traps designed not just for defense, but for annihilation. A mistake, a single misstep, and entire regions could vanish in an instant. This is not just a story of conventional warfare. It's a silent war, a war of technology, strategy, and silent threats along the borders of the Baltic region. Imagine endless forests echoing with the rustle of leaves and the faint hum of drones overhead. Here, hundreds of tanks and fighter jets stand on standby, training grounds packed with thousands of soldiers prepared for the worst. Patrols soar through skies, bomber and reconnaissance aircraft scanning tirelessly, their engines piercing the silence. The border between Russia, Belarus, and the Baltic states has transformed. Militaries have fortified every inch, no longer just borders, but iron walls of modern warfare. Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia have bolstered their defenses to historic levels. But the real shock? The danger is not just on the surface. It lurks underground, waiting to trigger chaos. Suspended bridges over the Russian and Belarusian frontiers no longer serve as crossing points. They're rigged with explosive cables, primed to blow at a moment's notice. Fields littered with concrete dragon's teeth, close-packed anti-tank obstacles, and roads riddled with mine traps make even movement treacherous. There's no diplomatic boundary anymore, just an impassable zone of destruction. A new, terrifying iron curtain spreads from the Arctic down to the Polish plains, more than a wall. It's a complex network of lethal defenses. Estonia has sealed the Narva border with reinforced concrete and razor wire, closing the once bustling Friendship Bridge. Latvia, in response, built a colossal 280-kilometer fence along its eastern border, plus 145 more along Belarus. These barriers are more than physical, they're smart walls, integrated with sensors and detection systems that monitor every movement. Lithuania hasn't stopped there. Bridges on the Belarus border are now engineered with explosive setups designed for instant detonation. The moment enemy tanks approach, these bridges could turn into deadly booby traps, annihilating any advancing force within seconds. This isn't merely about border security. It's a strategic ramp-up, a clear signal that war preparations now command every border crossing. Every structure, every barrier, is part of a comprehensive plan, designed to trap, destroy, and incapacitate an invading force before it ever crosses the line. This silent fortress, this web of high-tech defenses, leaves no room for doubt, escalation is imminent. The threat isn't just in the headlines, it's embedded in every concrete block, every sensor, every mine, ready to ignite a conflict at a moment's notice. Are these defenses enough? Or is a catastrophe just one trigger away? In the heart of Europe, a shadow war is unfolding beneath the surface of quiet borders. The once peaceful frontier now resembles a high-tech battleground, where modern defenses are transformed into lethal traps. Imagine bridges rigged with explosive engineering devices, ready to annihilate an advancing enemy within seconds. Metal structures beneath these crossings are specially designed beds, prepared to mount and fire explosives instantly. This tactic, known as counter-mobility, aims to not just destroy crossings but to trap tanks along narrow riverbanks, funneling them into preset kill zones monitored by artillery and HIMARS systems. Meanwhile, irrigation canals are being converted into natural anti-tank barriers, impossible for heavy vehicles to traverse, while dense forests obscure surveillance lines, making enemy movements virtually invisible. This is only the beginning of a comprehensive plan. To the west, Lithuania enhances border defense by deepening waterways, making them impassable for Russian T-72 and T-90 tanks. Those waterways turn into natural fortresses, cutting off infiltration. Borders are now armored with thousands of concrete blocks, mines, and sophisticated sensors, turning entire regions into virtual fortresses. Latvia's task is equally impressive. Its 280-kilometer fence and 145-kilometer barrier are fortified with intelligence systems, designed to detect even the smallest movement. Floating patrol walkways stretch across marshy terrain, allowing border guards to monitor the most treacherous areas. But the true game-changer lies in the anti-mobility parks behind the borders, areas packed with tens of thousands of barriers, mines, and explosive devices. These storage sites mean that within hours, vital roads can be rendered unusable. Every inch of this frontier echoes a message: invasion is blocked, halted before it begins. This isn't just border security, it's a calculated strategy for total war preparation, an impregnable line designed to paralyze any advance. Everywhere, from Poland to the Baltic nations, the message is clear: Russia and Belarus face not just physical obstacles but a meticulously crafted battlefield, where every move could spell disaster. The question remains, how long can this wall hold before it becomes an unbreakable barrier of destruction? Just before, Latvia's top-notch fortress line stood tall as the European Union's fiercest eastern shield. Marshy swamps buzzed with the creak of floating walkways under heavy boots. Border guards breathed in the damp, earthy scent, their footsteps echoing like distant thunder. Yet the true power lurked behind it: vast anti-mobility parks, stocked with concrete monsters and silent killers, poised to unleash chaos at a whim. Imagine this: what if the bridges and roads you rely on could vanish in a heartbeat, trapping you in a deadly maze designed for annihilation? Buzzing with high-tech eyes and sensors, this isn't just a wall, it's a predator, waiting to devour invaders whole. Lithuania and Latvia now hide dozens of hidden zones near their borders. These spots overflow with countless tank obstructions. Massive concrete slabs and cunning mines lie dormant, aching to scatter across paths. Reports swirl that roads could disintegrate in mere hours the instant Russian forces advance. Their boots might crush the earth, but this iron preparation shatters their lifeline. Is this the ultimate grudge, turning highways into burial grounds? Finland leads the charge, its defenses screaming defiance. President Alexander Stubbs urged his nation to get more Finnish, meaning ultra-ready, a command that reverberated like a battlefield horn. The Baltics took it as gospel. Helsinki erects shelters defiant against shattering artillery roars and missile howls, while sealing its southeastern edge with a 260-kilometer barricade that hums under the weight of impossible choices. This defense strategy echoes back to World War II horrors, a ghost reborn in stealth and steel. Drawing from Ukraine's brutal lessons, the region awakens to a cold truth. Russia's blitz can only be crippled at the very first inch of frontier, halting those monstrous tanks and armored beasts before they slither farther. Deep, layered defenses fade away. Welcome forward defense, clash at the edge, never yield a millimeter. Narva, Estonia's northeastern nerve center, pulses with peril. Bloomberg whispers reveal trembling bridges over the Narva River, barred by vicious dragon teeth and clanging steel gates. NATO simulations paint this as the Narva next nightmare, where Russia's fangs could strike first. Estonia mobilizes, drafting 600 bunker-like shelters along the line, a concrete barrage against shadowy little green men hybrid assaults. Unnerving provocations, like Russian guards' brazen incursions and yanked buoys that leave rivers whispering threats, jangle Tallinn's alarms. Gray areas dissolve, sides harden to steel. On one flank or the other, allegiance demanded, no mercy for neutrals. The hum of electronic eyes never sleeps. Can you feel the chill crawling up your spine, as underground tremors signal a forbidden crossing? Will the next tremor shatter more than just the ground? Will it ignite a war where no one wins, only the whispers of the trapped survive? The fortified border between Latvia and Estonia is not only a physical barrier but a complex network of high-tech security measures designed to defend against unseen threats. Along the 280-kilometer perimeter, massive fences equipped with sophisticated sensors now stand guard, detection systems that can distinguish between a rabbit and a soldier. In marshy terrains, floating walkways ensure patrols can traverse even the most difficult marshlands, while hidden storehouses, known as anti-mobility parks, stockpile thousands of concrete blocks, mines, and barriers, ready to be deployed instantly. When Russian tanks attempt to cross, specially engineered bridges on the Belarusian border are rigged with explosives, set to destroy the structures in seconds, trapping enemy units and redirecting them into kill zones prepared in advance. This is no ordinary border, it's a fortress built on fear and preparedness. The Latvian and Lithuanian forces have transformed their borders into living barricades, an active defense system designed to neutralize any Russian invasion at the earliest point. Every mile is wired, monitored, and fortified. These measures threaten to turn the entire frontier into an impenetrable death trap. It's an unprecedented approach, no longer relying solely on physical barriers, but integrating technology and engineering into a seamless shield. These border defenses reflect a deeper shift. The Baltic nations are no longer merely defending, they're refusing to allow any ground to be taken. Yet beneath this high-tech armor, a darker reality unfolds for the communities living here. Cities like Narva, once vibrant hubs of trade and culture, now resemble ghost towns, cut off by concrete walls and barbed wire. The closure of the iconic Friendship Bridge over the Narva River has shattered decades of social ties, transforming a lively crossing into a shuttered barrier. Residents, who once boasted of being where Europe begins, now feel isolated, abandoned, and caught between two shifting worlds. Daily life has become a tense waiting game, traffic blocked, businesses halted, families divided by invisible lines. For many, the economic fabric that sustained generations has unraveled overnight. The situation isn't just about physical borders, it's a psychological siege. Russian-speaking communities, which once thrived on cross-border exchanges, now face a dual threat, conflict above and disinformation below. Propaganda floods social media and messaging apps, sowing distrust and uncertainty among locals who are now caught in a rising storm of misinformation. The economic effects ripple outward, with entire regions experiencing a sudden decline in trade and tourism. Emergency drills become routine, and survival kits are distributed door to door, as governments prepare their populations for potential crisis scenarios. And what lies ahead? Could these fortifications truly hold back a determined adversary? Or are they simply delaying the inevitable? As the sound of alarms, sirens, and distant explosions echo in the distance, one question remains: what will the people in these fortified regions lose and gain in this high-stakes game of survival? The answers may define the future of Europe's eastern border, and perhaps the fate of the continent itself. Recent tensions have shattered the peaceful identity of border towns like Alexei and Narva, once thriving centers of trade and culture. Now, they stand isolated, their economies crippled overnight by closed bridges and barriers. The once lively streets are silent, the scent of commerce replaced by a tense, sterile atmosphere. The local population faces uncertainty: are they next? Will their communities survive the looming conflict? The Baltics, eyes wide open, prepare meticulously. Governments run constant drills, siren wails echo through the night as families clutch their survival kits. Over 150,000 civil defense manuals are handed out door to door in Lithuania. The plan: train civilians to withstand the coming storm. But the threat runs deeper than concrete. Russian disinformation campaigns flood social media, polluting minds. Waves of falsehoods spread via TikTok and Telegram, attempting to turn locals against their own governments. In the city of Daugavpils, a significant part of the population remains under Russian influence, skeptical of authorities' efforts. Faced with this dual challenge, Baltic nations find themselves fighting on two fronts. Outside, they erect concrete walls and anti-tank barriers. Inside, they battle propaganda, trying to win hearts over the mind's battlefield. In Vilnius, evacuation drills reveal the fragile logistics network. With the Belarusian border just 30 kilometers away, fears mount: could the capital itself become a target? Trapped in a tense game of milliseconds, authorities simulate evacuations, discovering only 3 main routes. They realize they must develop new ways, alternative paths to safety, to avoid chaos. Plans are underway to move vulnerable groups, elderly and disabled, by bus, trying to keep the lines open. Still, every step must be precise. Failure means delays, confusion, and vulnerability. In the face of this relentless pressure, the Baltic states are updating their strategies, preparing for the worst. The new threat is not just physical: an invisible war of disinformation, influence, and psychological sabotage. Their challenge: to hold their ground, protect their people, and prevent the shadow of invasion from turning their proud communities into ghost towns. Yet, as they brace for the coming storm, one question remains: how long can they endure before the fragile line between peace and chaos finally breaks? The recent developments highlight a chilling reality: the Baltic region is transforming into an impenetrable fortress. Strategists fear that a sudden wave of civilian movement along the Suwałki corridor could clog vital military routes, delaying critical assistance from NATO forces. With this threat looming, each government is pushing for fully prepared, independent plans to protect their citizens. Imagine thousands of innocent lives trying to escape, while military vehicles are stranded in a maze of obstacles. Every effort to evacuate vulnerable groups, elderly, disabled, is meticulously planned, yet the threat of chaos remains. Authorities are refining these strategies daily, recognizing that every second counts. The ripple effects of such an upheaval could be catastrophic for Russia and Belarus. If the borders close completely, Russia's last land connection to Europe would vanish overnight. Trains, trucks, and supply routes to Kaliningrad could halt at any moment, turning Moscow's strategic outpost into an isolated island. Belarus, once a buffer zone, now risks becoming a heavily fortified military hub. Its economy hangs on a fragile thread, tightly wound around Russia's influence. Embargoed from the West, Belarus faces a grim future of dependency and control. Now, the entire border landscape has shifted. The bright glow of guard towers and thermal cameras pierces the darkness, replacing the flickering lights of free movement. The colossal wall erected by the Baltic states isn't just a barrier, it's a game-changer. This aggressive fortification signals a seismic shift in NATO's approach. No longer is the strategy about waiting for Russia to strike first and respond, it's about preventing any invasion entirely. The new doctrine focuses on denying Russia the ability to gain ground. It's a brutal, uncompromising stance. If they try to push through, they will pay a heavy price. Lithuania's plan to blow up bridges isn't just military hardware, it's a direct message: come here, but never expect to leave alive. Such measures aim to undermine Putin's surprise attack tactics, shutting the door on quick victories. This extended defense line isn't just about physical barriers. It's about erasing the possibility of a rapid, decisive conflict. The Baltic countries are rewriting the rules of warfare, transforming what used to be a game of deterrence by punishment into a fortress of denial. Every obstacle and minefield becomes a symbol of resolute determination. Russia may come, but victory will be impossible. The phrase, "you can come into Moscow, but you'll never leave," embodies a new battlefield strategy aimed at halting any rapid Russian advance. This message isn't just words, it's a calculated tactic designed to turn Russia's backyard into a deadly trap. The Baltic region, once a peaceful borderland, now transforms into a fortress that strips Moscow of its surprise attack options. Recent military fortifications have reshaped the very geography Russia considers most vulnerable, converting the Baltic Sea into a virtual enclosed lake controlled by NATO forces. This new reality effectively neutralizes key Russian ports like St. Petersburg and Kaliningrad. Closing land borders seals the final gap, creating a tight land-sea encirclement that leaves Kaliningrad, Russia's western exclave, isolated and vulnerable, trapped in NATO territory with supply lines at risk of sudden cutoffs. Poland's sophisticated electronic barriers, coupled with Lithuania's extensive preparations around the Suwalki corridor, are significantly undermining Moscow's ability to project influence. The use of missile systems like Iskander, once a powerful threat, now faces high-tech air defense shields and impenetrable walls. Russia's reaction to this mounting pressure is increasingly desperate. Although an immediate attack seems less likely, long-term plans persist, according to warnings from top Estonian intelligence officials. Moscow's strategy of provoking chaos, fanning migrant crises and stirring unrest, faces a concrete obstacle: fortified defenses and determined armies. These barriers are not just physical, they symbolize a fundamental shift in Europe's collective mindset. For years, the Baltic nations were accused of paranoia when warning of Russian threats. Today, their warnings have morphed into Europe's official modern defense stance: anyone threatening an ally will face the full unity of NATO, prepared to defend every inch of its territory against any invasion attempt. In this emerging arena, Kaliningrad's once intimidating missile threat now seems more like a hostage of fortification, with its logistical routes severed or at risk. The region has become a symbolic battleground, where the East-West confrontation is played out not just through weapons, but through walls, sensors, and unwavering resolve. As the region prepares for the worst, the question remains: is Putin willing to risk open confrontation, or will this fortress of determination hold fast against the tides of chaos? The region is transforming into a fortress. Borders once marked on maps now resemble impregnable castles. Massive steel fences, explosive traps, and concrete barriers stretch for hundreds of kilometers. The ground trembles under the weight of anti-tank trenches and buried mines. This is not mere military buildup, it's a calculated barricade. The purpose? to prevent any advance, any breach. Imagine walking through these lands, smooth roads replaced with deadly obstacle courses. Bridges rigged to blow at the first sign of enemy armor. Fields dotted with high-tech sensors, scrutinizing every movement. The sound of distant drills and the scent of fresh concrete fill the air, an unceasing symphony of war preparedness. NATO forces are on constant alert here. Every step anyone takes echoes with the threat of destruction. But what is behind this relentless fortification? It's more than just defense, it's a message. A message to Moscow and Minsk: cross this line at your peril. Underneath the bridges, special beds of explosives sit ready. They're designed not just to destroy, but to trap invading tanks and redirect them into deadly kill zones. Irrigation canals, turned into natural barriers, hinder even the toughest vehicles. It's a chess game with real weapons, real danger. What does this mean for the everyday lives of those living nearby? Once vibrant towns become isolated zones of fear. Narva, once a bustling hub of trade, now whispers of lost connections. The famous bridge across the river, sealed tight with steel gates and teeth of concrete, quietly barricades the future. The local economy, built on cross-border movement, collapses overnight. Families, workers, children caught in the aftermath. Their once familiar world now transformed by steel and stone. The new reality soberly reflects the region's bold strategy. NATO's response isn't just to respond, it's to prepare for total confrontation. The Baltic nations know, victory favors those who seize the initiative at their borders, freezing the enemy before they step foot inside. The task is urgent, protecting not only land but also their sovereignty, their very identity. This is a high-stakes chess match, where a single move could trigger full-scale conflict. And yet, amid the armor and explosives, a question remains: how long can this heightened alert last? Will these formidable defenses persuade the aggressor to reconsider? Or could reckless provocation ignite the very chaos everyone desperately seeks to prevent? As these borders tighten and barriers rise, the world holds its breath, wondering, how close are we to the edge of a new, more dangerous chapter? In the shadow of rising tensions, the Baltics rise, weaving an iron web of steel and resolve. Borders once crossed with ease now bristle with deadly ingenuity. Can Russia's shadow be halted, or does chaos loom? Imagine the cold sting of barbed wire under frostbitten fingers, the rumble of engines silenced by earth-shattered trenches. What if one false step detonates a world of fire? As NATO's shield hardens, the air thick with the stench of explosives ready to ignite, a chilling question haunts the winds. Will Putin's empire crumble before this unyielding barrier, or strike blindly in desperation? The Baltic's fortified frontier is no mere line, but a labyrinth of destruction waiting to unfold. Above ground, tanks mass in grim formations, fighter jets howl overhead in endless drills. Training grounds pulse with thousands of boots echoing on frozen soil. Bombers and scouts slice the sky, eyes unblinking. In the Baltic wilds and along the Russia-Belarus divide, this chaos grinds into routine. Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia locked down, their militaries swelling to historic peaks. Yet the real terror lurks beneath. Rivers bridge no longer, their spans cocooned in rigged cables. Not for passage, but for obliteration. Fields tremble under concrete dragon's teeth, roads cleaved by anti-tank gouges and hidden mines. No diplomatic gates greet Moscow's gaze. One touch, and explosion tears the veil. An insane boundary emerges, an iron shroud from Arctic chill to Poland's vast plains. No simple wall, but